láyé olúgbọ́n mo ké borùn méje ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sányán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Hello everyone, my name is Adeyemo Adegbemiga Ganiu and I welcome you to my new Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video. Today I want to talk about the Yoruba people history with the term Jew, the origination of Jews with their lies with them and their Isheshe traditional links with the term Jew, which continue to be practiced among the Yoruba people consciously and unconsciously across Yoruba land and beyond West Africa. It is so common that you see that word Jews commonly used in different literature today, in different literature and writings, but I can bet to thought of the world who uses those words basically have no idea of what that name means. And that is only because the name Jews, the logic or the definition we have as in regards to the origin of Jews are coming from the Westerners who are not related to the people of the book, even haven't noticed that the entire Abrahamic prophet were all Africans. So there's supposed to be an African root of that word before the European came about theirs, but people don't care about the very name of the African root of those names. And the concerned people in regards to the definition of Jews or the title Jews are the Yoruba. You must have been watching my video. The entire Yoruba's past history evolves around all the whole Abrahamic stories, texts, culture, and tradition. This is why, but among the Yoruba, from the lens of the Yoruba people, the word Jews, Arab, Israelites, and other Abrahamic terms are mere all religion titles, all religionized titles. It means nothing to the Yoruba people. But the only reason why personally I continue to use the term in order for my African people to understand where I'm going is because this name actually reflects most of their past adventures, especially outside West Africa, and their different legacies as an individual groups when they all used to dwell in different or scattered locations beyond West Africa, despite that they are ancestrally related. Such references can be cited in the Quranic verses of Surah Al-Baqarah 2 verse 62, when the Almighty basically stated when he was addressing Muhammad, he stated telling Muhammad that whoever among you that believe in the book we have given to you, revealing or reveal is actually identifying with the use of oracle traditionally. There is no somebody whispering to anybody, because this oracle tradition are what the ancestors of Muhammad practiced throughout the Bibles as Onisheshe. So when we talk about revealing the message of the Almighty, is an act of an Babalawo trying to consult Ifa and listening to the call or the word of the Almighty in interpretation, just like all Abrahamic prophets before Muhammad went through. So the Quran verse is basically saying, Muhammad, anyone who believes in you, in the book what we have revealed to you, anyone who also believes in the guide that was given to the Jews, anyone who also believes in the guides to the Nasara and also the Sabian, each one or anyone collectively among these different ethnic groups at different locations in antiquity, that actually want to see me the mercy of the Almighty, they must only abide by just 3 laws. And these laws, no religion, no church, nothing, are very simple. Number 1, believe in the Almighty, which is naturally part of the Yoruba people and many Africans, because believing in the Almighty entails you to believe in just one monotheistic Almighty, that at least there is a force controlling good and bad and everything. The verse also stated that you people, you must also believe in your last day. The last day among the Yoruba people can also be referenced to the idea of awaiting repercussion, not only just can be applicable to death. In Yoruba, they said, the beru ojo keyin, beru atubotan. Atubotan means the last time, as in when what goes around will come back to you, not necessarily mean when you die. I hope you are getting it. And the Almighty now said, then they should also believe, and they should also engage in doing the right thing. the righteous heart. The righteous heart is what the Yoruba people naturally has as a being. Is our slogan, is our heritage for thousands of years, which is Ije Omoluabi. Be humble to people, be respectful, be saying kind words to elderly people, give respect to those who deserve, stuff like that. Is that so? The Almighty is not asking anybody to go into religion. This is why I said both the Abrahamic books, if you carefully look into them without an unbiased mind, because Christian will read Bible, whether good or bad, we only want to favor themselves. The Muslim will read Quran, either good or bad. No one wants to be neutral. You have to be neutral for you to assess the truth. Go into Isheshe, look at what, then your mind will naturally tell you the right thing. And that is exactly how I do before I realize tradition is actually the thing. No one wants to have a neutral mind. So both Abrahamic books are not to be faulted to some extent. Most what you see today are natural culture of the invaders, which they coined around those books. So the book is basically telling us about different Yoruba ethnic group that dwell in scattered locations within and outside West Africa in antiquity. And this book is also making us to realize the location which they are just by the name the Quran gave to them. People, like when we talk about the Muhammadan, that the Quran is basically believe in Muhammad. If you haven't been watching my video by now, please you should do, because I've made about 2 to 3 videos regarding to Muhammad, that Muhammad dwelled around the Kush land, which was renamed as Ijebu Baka, Ijebu ni Ile-Baka, which led to why the Ijebus and some other people, they passed through the Maroc region, then headed back to Mali. From Mali, they entered Nigeria. Likewise, in some cases too, some Oya Sheriola, which are the Nasara and so many other people, they were also given another Odu-Ifa too for revelation that would guide them. They too also pass the central part of Africa, enter through Maiduguri. So there are different migrations, especially those two, they were very prominent. So when we talk about the people, the other Sabians, the word Sabian was taken from Sabe, just like we have Nigeria and Nigerian, America and American. So Sabian was actually Sabe, and when we're talking about Sabe, we are talking about the Dahome, the Yorubas of Dahome, who also adhered to the authority of the king of Ile-Ife in antiquity. So the Almighty is basically giving us hint that they were different Yoruba people, not just in today's southwest of Nigeria, that live in scattered different locations. And these are the people of the book. These are the people of Ifa guide of different kinds that were sent to them, that modern people now coined around book of. This is why I said I don't joke with any Abrahamic book. I don't dismiss people or everything they hold. I only pick out what I find out to be truth, then throw away the rest. But I will never dismiss anyone's argument. So the Almighty is telling us where these people stay. But among these people, the Almighty now mentioned about the people or the guide of the Jews. And this is where we shall touch about the very origin of the Jews. Who are the Jews? Let me give you a breakdown. The name or the term Jews was derived from Ijeri, which means the testifier among the Yoruba. That is what Ijeri, you are testifying to something, testifier of truth, testifier of reality, or whatever it is. And it was coined out of the word Ifa Olujeri, and this is why the Yoruba traditional uses the slogan Ijeri Eleri Ipin. Ifa Olujeri or Eleri Ipin. I'm sorry, my Yoruba traditionalist. I'm not deep in tradition, or I'm just at the top. So Ifa Olujeri Eleri Ipin, that is where the slogan came from. And when we check out, in other words, when you check about the Ifa Olujeri, is like saying we believe in the message or the truth that Ifa is speaking to us. In other words, to be called a Jew comes along with your belief as a Yoruba person in Ifa tradition. This is why not everybody can be a Jew. And you have to be either from Yoruba land, connected to the Ifa practices or be related to the Yoruba people borrowing their Ifa tradition simply because Ifa oracle or the oracle of God or Ifa Olodumare, whichever way you people see beyond Yoruba tradition, it originates from Ile-Ife, and it was given to a man known as Orunmila, better known Abrahamically and dubbed as Abraham, and whose children as Yoruba descended or heard from his own personal ethnics are today's random kings at Ondo in Ekiti land. Orunmila, the children of, because I don't think many Abraham people even know that the children of Abraham is 8, and Orunmila had 8 wives. Apart from Agar and Sarah, we have Kentura. Go and count the son. Go and count the son of Orunmila. I reserve so many things in my book because I try to break it down. I don't want to release much of my information so that my book will be interesting. So these are the children of Orunmila. So when we are talking about Ifa Olujerepe, collectively the Yoruba people can be dubbed as the Onifa, because that is our religion, that is our tradition, what the heaven gave us as pride. I hope you get it. But among the Yoruba people, there are still more people who are closer to Ifa more, who are the direct son. Let me give you an example. Like I can be a discoverer of anything in this world. Whatever I'm doing, I'm putting the legacy of Yoruba in the front. So people will record. Let us put Afrobeat. Like today's Afrobeat has gone global. But when they talk about Afrobeat, the legacy or the view of who they understand are Nigerian. But apart from Nigerian, Afrobeat is more of the Yoruba people more, aside that we Nigerian collectively. Afrobeat is more of the Yoruba people before it became Nigerian and before it became non-Nigerian or African, before it went out of. So Afrobeat is more closer to some people than so many people. There are some people, those who own Afrobeat will never want Afrobeat to die. But those who are partially closer to Afrobeat, they won't care much. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So when we are talking about Ifa, there are some people in Yoruba land, even though all of us believe in Ifa tradition, but there are some people in Yoruba land that the practices of Isheshe of Ifa is a compulsory thing to them. It's not a choice. They don't have any choice. They hold it with heart, and these are more can be likened to the people of the direct son of the person that founded the legacy of Ifa, which are the Ondo and Ife people. I hope you get it. These are the people who carry the legacy on earth. They took it at heart. They will never let Ifa die. Why the rest Yoruba might still be doubting. So it's not as if I'm saying. So when we are referring to Jews, we are more Jews than ourselves. That is where I'm going to. The Yoruba people are Jew, but the main Jew, they are the Ondo people or Ekiti people, because Ekiti was earlier part of Ondo before they became a sovereign state inside Nigeria. So when I'm saying Ondo, Ekiti, I'm still referring to the same group of people. These are the people who are direct sons of Orunmila, who believe in Ifa tradition and that make them the original authentic Jews. I hope I'm making sense. So for you to understand it, we have to go political now, so you understand why Ondo people are very special when it comes to the legacy of Jews. You can see such references in the Paxton record, that was published in 1933, I think, in England. Or should we even talk about the Rudolph Windsor of the New Jersey, which in his book extensively details and summarizes what we know as Ifa in Britain. Among his writing, he says some of these Jews reverted back to West Africa after the invasions of failed Arab, and they were being driven by non-African individuals. The modern history dubbed them as Arab, but we know that original Arabs are black. They are failed Arab, and they are invaders, impersonator. Just like we have impersonating Jew, we have impersonating Arab, we have impersonating Jew, we have impersonating Israelite, we have impersonating children of God. So I hope you, so don't just generalize that they are Arab. They are not just Arab. They are Bedouin Arab, the peeled Arab, and we know what the Quran speaks about them in Bedouin. Inside that same Quran, the Quran describes those you see as the Middle Eastern. He called them the Bedouin Arabs or Arab wanderer. They are deep in disbelief. They don't believe in anything. Forget that they are parading with white cloth. If you know what is going on in Middle East to African people, you know that it's not about religion. They are who they are. What they are doing in terms of religion is just business. They have nothing spiritual about heaven. So I don't want to digress too much. In Rudolf Winsow's book, he stated that these are Jews who reverted back to West Africa after the fall of North Africa, and they were being driven by the peeled Arab that invaded, and whereby these Jews temporarily dwell in Timbuktu of today's Mali, and by which, as collective Yoruba ethnic, they were being called the Omo Oyokuhaim, a typical Yoruba word from Omo Oyo Okonimi, or Emi ni Omo Oyo Tooto, a sort of pride to identify themselves or to associate themselves as a true blood Yoruba descendant, particularly from Oyo, and also as part of the Judaism family. A word Judah that was derived from Dua, because these people that came back to West Africa, they also identified themselves as the Judea. Judah is a Yoruba word that was derived from Eje Odudua, family of Odudua. As a relative, they are still identifying themselves with the Yoruba people of Ile-Ife, that we are still related. Aside from we are related to the Oyo, we are related to Ife, we are related to all the pre-existing majority of West African. It's like being related to someone from the father's side, from the uncle side. There are different terminologies to describe their pure blood as Yoruba people, and also as Negro, Omo Logo. In the general umbrella term, we are Negro, Omo Yoniwa, Omo Logo Niwa, Omo Luabi Niwa. In fact, the part of Rudolph writing said two things specifically about these very people that people misquote. He said these people, they were practicing, they don't uphold the Torah because they were practicing the pagan attribute of their neighbors. That is only in reference to the incoming Yoruba people from North Africa, those who are enjoying in the practices of the Amon traditions of the Egyptian, that they abandon their Ifa teachings oracle. They are enjoying their Tamil practices, and they enjoying the Egyptian Tamil practices, and abandon the Ifa traditional, which actually belongs to their forefathers. So he's not saying that Ifa oracle is the pagan worship. No, he's only saying the practices they brought along with them are alien tradition to Ifa oracle. So to do something pagan does not actually mean it's bad. It actually mean you are not doing what is of your own. Something pagan to other people may actually fitted their spiritual way of life. I hope you understand that. So if I said this thing is bad, that bad thing is a good thing for another person. So when the book of Rudolph is actually saying they are practicing pagan, it's like they are practicing alien. They abandoned their own Ifa oracle and were enjoying the practice of the Egyptian. I hope I'm making sense. So this book of the Rudolph also secondly said that these Jews doesn't appear like Jews. These Jews doesn't appear like Jews, but they were actually speaking Maghreb and Arabic. Maghreb and Arabic. We have account too that there are two migrations. The Arab ones were, and some of them they splitted. We also have migrations of Yoruba who passed through the Morocco and descended down. So people have to understand the length of this, that it has deeper. Don't just pick the word and just generalize. There details to it. So in other words, it absolutely have nothing to do with religion. The term Jews, it absolutely have nothing to do with dressing code, like you see them putting on a small scarf like palm wine tapper, all these white cloths, like they has nothing to do. As a matter of fact, the term Jew can be likened to you calling the Asian people the Kung Fu nation. When you see it, because that is where they practice all the Jackie Chan thing. When you're calling them the Kung Fu nation, it means nothing to them. It's not a legacy you can hold on to. As a matter of fact, the people who own the title don't even care in Yoruba land. It is those who doesn't really have affiliation with the people of the concern that continue to look for relevance here and there, bringing white people to Africa to validate them. Can you see inferiority complex to the highest? To validate them in order for them to be recognized too as part of the white system, because their ignorance doesn't even allow them to even realize that the white people they are running to meet for validation are not even related to the black Jew. So what do you expect of them? So the people who own the title Jew, they don't care, which are the Yoruba people. Why those who have no affiliation to it, either within Africa or outside, they are the one running enter scatter. But then they will start dressing. The Jew has nothing to do with faith. It has nothing to do with legacy. It's just a title, just like calling you the musician. Anyone can be a musician, for God's sake. So that is what I know about the term Jew. That is why I said, that is why you will never see a Yoruba man in Africa identifying with the term Israelite. They are mere names. Oya Sheriola, those who migrated from somewhere of different blessed. Arab, àwọn Arabi, our other companion, because the other companion resonated from the idea of the Jew, the Yorubas of Oyo, and the Yorubas from Sudan, which are the Ondo and some of the Delta and Benin people, and also the Yoruba from the Ijebu, sharing the same boundary. Some dwell in Dongola region, some dwell in Ijebu Baka. So they call themselves àwọn Arabi, àwọn Arawa, my other brother from the same lineage. This is why the term Arab have no affiliation with any tribe. Is like a non-existing term. People just wear it as something big deal today. Likewise, the case of Israelite. So the Yoruba people knows what they are doing if they don't associate with all those names, even though the old story, the old legacy were all about them. Those who are not connected to the story are the ones who are desperately running a tasket, are being restless to be identified with such word. But the only reason why I'm also using this term in my videos is because I want people to see the truth from where it matters. So I will see you in my next video. Make your comment known below respectively, and I will see you later. Thank you and bye for now.